I've been wanting to ask. Tell me something, folks. Before we start, how come that Dragon Age the Veilguard got a 9 out of 10, but it got bought up by Saudi Arabia and the game flopped? And how come Black Myth Wukong get a 6, but it got 2 million players? Think about that.
Du bist nicht Friedrich. Die Uniform ist falsch. Du bist keiner von uns.
Now, as you read the title, the media, if you want to call it that, they are now attacking Crimson Desert for copying other games. So let's see what they had to say.
We all know that video game journalists are massive hypocrites and they're only going to show for the latest piece of corpo slop, but they are going to attack games that might think outside the box, but they are inconsistent. They attacked our creators for using AI, but didn't have a problem when Black Ops 7 used it, and now they're saying Crimson Desert is doing far too much, but it's okay when Highguard does it.
Seriously? Highguard doing too much? Do these video game journalists know that Highguard came at the worst time? Highguard came on what? January 27. That's 1 month before Resident Evil 9, okay? Yes, it may be a different genre. When you have a game that has a massive appeal on both audience and critics, guess what? That game, Highguard, will be overshadowed. Wanna know why IGN is not doing like that? Ow. I mean, IGN even have a movie section, which, if I recall correctly, I don't remember IGN is now what? Covering movies? No, generally. No, generally, if you don't believe me...
No, no! Lauf, lauf!
Got him. No, if you don't believe me, folks, check their website or their YouTube channel. You can see many movie trailers. I'm not joking, there is.
None of us trust video game journalists. They are extremely inconsistent and they, of course, will defend something if it pushes the political propaganda they support. But when a game doesn't do that, well, it's free range. Okay, you can attack them all you want, you can go at the developers all you want, you can cancel them if that's what you want to do, and it usually doesn't work out for the journos because gamers are actually going to defend the good game. But now they are attacking Crimson Desert while also praising Highguard for virtually the same thing. We all know what the situation is with Highguard. It is a game that tries to do everything and succeeds at nothing. IGN had just put up a post a few days ago saying so far Highguard genuinely stands out with a compelling new game mode and snappy gunplay, and this is a title that features everything. You have to capture points, you have to base build, you have to collect resources, you have the gunplay, you have all these different systems, but now suddenly when another game, in this case Crimson Desert, is trying to do so much, well, it's suddenly a problem. We know these people don't actually care about video games. They don't know what makes a title good, and basically as soon as the paycheck clears for whatever product they're paid to shill for, that is what they are going to praise the most, even if it makes them look extremely inconsistent. But yes, now they are attacking Crimson Desert, and I do agree. Crimson Desert does appear to be offering a lot, but just because a game is promising a lot and offering a lot doesn't mean that it's going to come out and do poorly, and doesn't mean that it's going to underdeliver with every single system. Black Desert Online, Pearl Abyss's other game, the MMO, did phenomenally, and it did feature a lot of different systems that were all done pretty freaking well, and so I do have a lot of faith in them. I do think that they are going to come out and at least create a really fun experience, even if it's not perfect.
I mean, seriously, IGN is a gaming website, not a movie website. I don't know. IGN back, it was all about gaming. Well, now it's not about gaming anymore. Remember, there's a meme that is called "You cannot spell ignorant without IGN." No, now you know why they are desperate, because why do you think there is a movie section? Don't forget, Wired, there's a website called Wired, used to run tech, okay? And now it's all politics. I'm not joking, look it up. I mean, seriously, why do you even bother having a website if you attack gamers?
Rein!
And also, folks, you need to know is that Resident Evil 5 Remake will also gonna suffer the same thing. No, I'm not kidding. Resident Evil 5 Remake will in fact suffer the same treatment. And assuming the journalists got it, I think this is the problem. The developers should not... Okay, I understand they want to rely on journalists, but at the same time, they should know that journalists doesn't represent... Video game journalists doesn't represent the gamers, okay? Every developer, not just in the East, but indie, AA, all that sort.
Expect every single game to be perfect, but the two products comparing Highguard and Crimson
Not everyone
Desert
is perfect.
are very different. Okay, Highguard looks like it was developed in a year. It looks like it is an early access game, and it doesn't look like it should have released. But Crimson Desert looks gorgeous. It has all these systems. The gameplay looks fun. It looks sharp. It looks polished. They look very different, and that's why they are getting raked across the coals on social media. But really quickly, to go over this article from IGN on Crimson Desert.
One thing you have to understand is that this is what happens when a new game comes out. The journalist doesn't like it, okay? They will praise any game that doesn't challenge their narrative, okay? I mean, why do you think they give Dragon Age Veilguard a high score, a 9, and refuse to give games such as what, the first Descendant, Marvel Rivals, or even better yet, Black Myth Wukong, that score? Why is that? Adam? So basically, folks, is that when it comes to journalists now, I think it's okay. If you wish to know when it happened, Gamergate won, because during that time it is about ethics and journalists. Okay, no, generally, this is what happened. Gamergate 1 immediately tells every gamer that, okay, the journalist doesn't have our best interests. And when the rise of YouTube, guess what? Oh, the journalists really are disliked. And it's because this is because of the rise of social media. The journalist doesn't like it, and many gamers are now flocking to social media to know what exactly a game does wrong, okay?
To go over this article from IGN on Crimson Desert promises the world, but how much will it deliver? I'm sure it will deliver exactly what people are expecting. It says, though, The Legend of Zelda, The Witcher, Dragon's Dogma, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, and now GTA 5, every time South Korean studio Pearl Abyss shows off a new slice of its upcoming open-world action-adventure Crimson Desert, I feel like I see a new line of influence. It's so funny because people also think that Highguard looks like every other fucking game to release over the past decade, and in their article about it, do they actually bring this up?
Because they want transparency, which in the West, it is rare, okay? generally.
Also nicht gekommen!
Okay, really? What does it say? The best that stand out? Okay, tell me something, IGN. If it stands out, it was the best, then how come I'm not having fun? No, generally, I played it for 2 hours. I'm not having fun at all. They just implemented 5v5 and it was too late because right now, my intention is now moving to Resident Evil 9. Yes, it may be a different genre, but understand one thing, regardless of the genre, if that game has a massive appeal, both critics and audience, games like Highguard will be overshadowed. I'm not joking. Highguard will be overshadowed by Resident Evil 9 Requiem because guess what? They released it 1 month before Resident Evil 9. Cut that out.
Lass ihn nicht entkommen!
Okay.
Lass ihn nicht entkommen!
So. Give me a sec.
Lass ihn nicht entkommen!
So basically,
Do you see at the top of the Highguard review any comparisons? No, because one is Western Corpo slop,
That's right.
and the other is a South Korean unique
Asians.
experience.
Hoorah.
It's interesting that they constantly call us the racists, but if you actually start paying attention to their coverage on Eastern versus Western games, it might be a little bit of a situation of the pot calling the kettle black because man oh man do they trash Eastern games basically at every opportunity possible. It says over the 6 years since its reveal, we've seen a fantasy land akin to one Geralt would explore, puzzle shrines in the sky that could easily hover above Hyrule, and a complex combat system rooted in Capcom classics. But in the developer's latest lengthy video detailing the world of Pyrewall, a new surprise awaited us, the addition of 2 new playable characters to join Scottish Jon Snow alike main protagonist Cliff Macduff, the whole skill set of their own for us to now anticipate getting our heads around. I can't help but be excited but also cautiously wary. By trying to do so much, does Crimson Desert risk achieving nothing? I don't necessarily think every game needs to innovate. I don't think every single game needs to do everything to the most intense, insane lengths possible.
It depends, though.
I just think it needs to be good. And it's
Yeah, that's
fine
right. It needs to be good.
if it quote unquote achieves nothing, because the only achievement it should strive for is entertaining people.
That's right.
And I definitely think this is going to entertain people. But the spin between these two different articles is so interesting to me because in the Crimson Desert one, it's constantly comparison after comparison after comparison.
Unbelievable.
And really, throughout all of the articles I have read and highlighted on the channel about Highguard, almost none of them, except for like one, compare Highguard to every other game it clearly is copying and pasting from. I guess in the case of Crimson Desert, the check didn't clear.
All you need to do is just make a good game and then respect gamers' time. That's it. And that's what Crimson Desert do, okay? Listen, many of these Eastern games, look, here's the thing, folks. Eastern games, when they have the budget, they follow everything to the letter, okay? They're not like the West, where there's bloated budget and nothing is getting done. Tell me something. When you see all these Eastern games, have you ever seen any of these Eastern games suffer a crunch? No, generally. Yeah, some games just need to be a good game. Nothing more. If you make a good game, guess what? Everyone will buy it.
Können nicht fliegen!
Sec, let me just. So,
Eindringling! Runter!
got him.
Lass ihn nicht kommen! Ist am Geschütz! In Deckung!
They say the power trip is there. I just worry about the rest of the journey. The as of yet unnamed characters with their own presumably complex fighting systems look very fun to play as, don't get me wrong. I'm particularly drawn to quick dodging, magic shifting, pistol wielding women who appear at first glance to better fit their more roguish tendencies. But it's yet another layer added to the top of an already ambitious cake. I like cake, you can probably tell from a quick look at my face. That would be the case, but when it's stacked so high that even Bruce Bogtrotter would take a pass on it, I worry it's a sign that Crimson Desert should not be trying to have and eat it, and they are getting destroyed for basically sitting here and saying there's too much going on in the game, that this game is too ambitious. And again, I do think that it is hard to trust companies now, given how much Western bullshit we've gotten. But I trust Eastern developers way more than I trust Western.
Sometimes you don't need to have... Well, let me just say that again. Sometimes, when it comes to Eastern games, okay, all they have to do is simple. Once they got their budget, they follow everything to the letter. They will not load it up, nor will they ever suffer a crunch. Not once. I mean, even if there is a crunch, it is rare, okay? Pretty rare.
And in the case of Black Desert Online, Pearl Abyss really did deliver a high-quality experience.
Yeah, man.
If you guys don't like a game, then it's probably a good game.
Yeah.
By trying to do nothing special, Veilguard earned a 9 out of 10 from us. Yeah, the fact that they'll give things like Concord 7s and Veilguard's 9s, but they're sitting here complaining about Crimson Desert is insane to me.
Shout out to Vera Dark. Also, I could be picking Crimson Desert, but my main concern is my storage and, yes, my specs. Because there's a possibility that my gaming laptop that you're seeing right here... Oh, generally, folks, my specs here, I have the RTX 3050, which I checked, it is equivalent to this, which is I checked, okay? What I must say is that my laptop here has a RTX 3050, which is an equivalent to the GTX 1650. So there's a possibility that Crimson Desert will not run. Oh, it's moving around. Yeah. So, basically, folks, when it comes to... Hold still. Yeah. Saying, oh yeah, I think this time, listen, Video game journalists are in decline, okay? YouTubers are taking their place. No, if you don't believe me, look at their YouTube channel. Why do they have a, what? A movie section.
Pro tip, if game journalists hate it, then the game is probably good. IGN's futile attempts to pour cold water on one of the most anticipated games of the year, no doubt because it avoided box-ticking DEI requirements, and they did the same exact thing with something like Hogwarts Legacy.
That's right.
Because they felt it didn't do enough to apologize for J.K. Rowling's legacy, and because it is Harry Potter, they tried to make people less excited for it. Did that work? Of course not, but they are always going to attempt it, even if they look ridiculous.
Got him. Well, generally, folks, they have a movie section. Because if I recall correctly, video game journalists like IGN don't do that. Don't cover movies. Why do they do it? Because simple. They are in decline. And they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. And again, when IGN says, so what you do is simple. If IGN says this game is like a 9 or an 8, always check the player count and the Steam review. Assuming that game comes in Steam, okay? But it comes in PlayStation, that is, well, your best bet is, of course, YouTubers, okay? So, evidently, so now, so how we do this, okay? I think, what's to say? Honestly, in my opinion, I understand that, yeah, I understand game developers still needs journalists. Yeah, I understand that many developers, both indie, AA, and also both indie and AA and Eastern games need journalists, okay? But the problem is right now, it is apparent that the journalists cannot be trusted. No, generally, they cannot be trusted. And it's a shame that many of these developers that just want to make a good game are being attacked for it.
Game journals will complain about the negativity surrounding Highguard and then post shit like this. But it's not even out yet. Can we stop dunking on Highguard before it's even out? Please, yeah. These people are not consistent whatsoever. And human beings are inconsistent creatures.
That's right.
I get that occasionally, right? Somebody's going to have an opinion that doesn't quite align with the previous stance they had, but we're talking about it being a day-to-day occurrence with these people.
That's right.
I thought my hate for IGN couldn't grow any larger. I was wrong. I think they will nail it because this is a single-player game. They are experienced with making huge worlds filled with stuff to do. If it's anything like Where Winds Meet, Jack of all trades, master of none, then yes, I'll take. The devs released hours of gameplay showing how great the game is. Crimson Desert's epic scope might be its undoing. No way. So I am personally very excited for Crimson Desert.
So, evidently, folks, I would say this. The one thing we need to know is that what can we do in this point, okay? Frankly, we can't do anything about it because the video game journalists are going to continue to do their moronic take. No, generally, they're going to continue on And it doesn't matter how many people got laid off, they're gonna continue to do it. I mean, the only way these journalists stop attacking their consumer is that they bleed money, okay? Because remember, they're in decline and they barely have enough money to go by. Got him. So, evidently, folks, there's more? Right? Missed. I got him. Got him. So, how was I to say this? To top it off, I think it is better that, in my opinion, which I'm certain, well, it may take some time for game developers to at least listen to YouTubers, okay? It takes some time. But all I have to say to all developers, what you need to do is just make good games, okay? That is it. If you make good games and if the game is good, that is unoptimized. So where was I? Oh yeah. When it comes to games, folks, if every developers, both indie, AA, and Eastern games, make a good game and making sure that the game is polished, optimized, and not prone to broken, like say there's bugs and glitches, then gamers will still support you, despite many people, or in this case many journalists, will say that your game has AI in it. And also the AI witch hunt, which let me add a bit, the AI witch hunt on these games is never gonna stop with these journalists. Because guess what? I'm not joking, folks. If you type at Google, you can see plenty of articles written about anti-AI. I'm not joking. The reason why they do it because of one simple reason, okay? These journalists do it because AI will replace their jobs. That's why. I'm not kidding. Look, I'm not, how am I supposed to say this? Look, I really don't like when people lose their jobs, okay? But activists, I have no sympathy for them, okay? They don't have my sympathy. So now you see. And frankly, we can't do anything about it. And the only way that these journalists will ever stop is, of course, money, okay? If their outlet still bleeds money, these activists will be removed. No, it happens, okay? It's now happening right now. And most importantly, the outlet, both IGN, Kotaku, they're gonna have to make a choice. Stop attacking the gamers or the developers that make good game, or continue to do it and continue to bleed money.
Allied infantry always welcomed the sight of a Sherman tank. Its combination of speed, firepower, and quick repair made it an invaluable ground weapon. The sheer number of Shermans in the field usually allowed Allied generals to count on armored superiority. However, not all the Sherman tank specs were ideal. It was thinly armored and caught fire easily. In addition, its cannon was not large enough to pierce the more heavily armored enemy tanks, a weakness not shared by the German Tiger. Fortunately, evolving teamwork between ground spotters, artillery, and the Army Air Force meant no Tiger was impenetrable, thus helping the Shermans rule the day.